Hi, welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, Thecia Ellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever-changing world. Today is March 17, the Friday, 2023. Let me try that again. Today is Friday, March 17, 2023. And this is episode 23, The Prospect of Death. Okay. First of all, we got farm happenings. I'm still on Daisy watch. I'm thinking her. This is my pig. I was going to say sow, but this is her first litter. So I guess she's still a gilt. I don't know. I've got a lot to learn, but yeah, it looks like her milk's coming in. It looks like probably Tom and I will separate her from Waddles and Oscar tomorrow. And I didn't want to do it too early because, just like anybody else, you got to have your friends and be with them. Now we'll put her nearby, but I think I want her separate whenever she has the piglets. I was going to do that all along, and then I was watching a YouTube video of some other people that I follow, and one of their sows had piglets right in there with everybody else. And I'm sure that happens in real life too, but I don't know. This is my first time, so I've got a lot to learn, and I want her to be comfortable. I want her to be able to make a nest in her own home and do that, because of that the A-frame things that I built actually were pretty good size, but by the time you get all three of them in there, they're kind of stacked like cordwood. And so having another, I'm glad I built the other A-frame, and we'll drag it over and move both sets tomorrow, because it seems like every Saturday is a good day to move the pigs, because especially while it's kind of muddy and rainy and everything like that. Well, because when it was during the drought, we didn't have to do that much because there wasn't anything for them to mess up too much. But I tell you what, within like 2 days, they've got everything pretty much dug up. They don't dig deep. They're not real destructive. They just like to find, get the grass pulled up. That's what they do, I guess. I planted several seedlings. I can't remember. I've got it recorded in my farm book. Started some Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, and my dog just walked in. Let me go close the door real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Because not only this is from Beethoven, he knows how to open the front door, but he doesn't know how to close it, and I'm sure he doesn't care. So that's what I was going to go just close the bedroom door, and I realized no, the front door is wide open, and it's like 30-something degrees outside, so I had to run and go close that door. Life with animals, because here comes the cat. Lovely. This is going to be fun. But at least Beethoven's laying down right now. All right, what was I? Okay. Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Cabbage had a real good sprouting of the cabbage. I've got what hasn't come up real good. I think I've only got one or two little sprouts come up as broccoli, and that's kind of unfortunate because we eat a lot of broccoli. And maybe I could just start it again for the fall garden. And the Brussels sprouts is looking good, and the cauliflower just started coming up yesterday. Where I think the very first thing that started coming up was the cabbage. So that's coming up. That's looking good. I still got my plants. I bought not too many of them, but I do have some plants that I still need to get them transferred. I'm looking for a push mower. I have a push mower. It gets beat up. Okay, we're on 40 acres. That's what I use. I mean, we finally got the riding lawnmower fixed last year, so I can do a lot of riding lawnmower stuff, and I finally got the tractor fixed, and I can get out there and I can start doing bush hogging again. But for ever and ever, the only thing I had, of course, and I'm not doing 40 acres with a push mower, but that's what the push mower gets used a lot, and we got it serviced, but it just still wasn't quite the same. And I have to have it for the vineyard. I can do some with the riding mower in the vineyard, but we planted the vines too close together, and the rows are too close together. And plus, we have the lines that go across for the vines to run across. Well, you clothesline yourself all the time trying to figure out how to do stuff. cat. And so I need a push mower so I can mow the vineyard properly, and it takes a long time. It's like an acre, so whenever I'm trying to mow, if I keep up with it and nonstop, I've discovered that it makes about a 6-hour job. But I don't keep up with it, so it takes 8 to 10 hours, and I can't do that all at one time. So by the time I get it finished and start all over again, it's already grown up again. So it's very frustrating, but still, regardless, I need a push mower. Well, I went to Lowe's, and they had electric mowers and they had riding lawnmowers. And I thought, no, I don't want an electric mower. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Oh, like I said, 40 acres. What are we going to do with an electric mower on 40 acres? So I don't want to do that. It's not like I have a yard. I have acreage. And then we went to Atwood's, which is kind of like, it's a farm store. And they had a bunch of mowers, and I found one I liked. And the poor kid, he worked and worked and worked there was only two of one style that I wanted, because I don't need a bag. I don't want a bag. I don't want all the bells and whistles. I just want a mower. And he worked and worked, and the two that were of the same model, he couldn't get them started. And I told him, I'm sorry, I can't take them home because I throw mowers when I get aggravated like that. He goes, yeah, what's really frustrating is they're only out here because we got them started the first time. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. But he did. He worked for a long time. He could get some started, but he couldn't get them to keep running. Well, that's what I've got now. Well, that's not true. Sometimes my old mower, it'll start and only run for a few minutes, and sometimes it just won't start at all. And I don't want to deal with that. I will do the upkeep. I will do the best I can with it, but I don't want to have to mess with a mower when I schedule a time to mow. That's what I want to do, is mow, and I don't want to be pulling on the rope over and over. Let's see, what's the next thing? Oh, we're on spring break right now. Kenzie's on spring break, so actually not a whole lot's changed. It's been so nice. I was worried about whenever she got her driver's license how bad it was going to be, but actually, especially during the time that I was sick, and I don't know if you noticed, I'm feeling a lot better, but it was just trying to get around. And then somebody told me the other day, oh, you need to be making sure she's doing all the errands. Well, I don't run a lot of errands, I don't guess, and I don't need her to do it. And so, but she has her own errands to run, and to and from softball practice and other things, she's driving to and from school and stuff. It's great, but it's spring break this week, and so it's been pretty low key around here. The cat, where is he? Right there. That's Sydney. I am actively looking for a new home for Sydney. He's not a bad cat, but he's a cat. I'm allergic to cats. I don't have time to go around picking up after cats as they knock things off the counters and race through the house and stumble. For one thing, he likes to go right in front of you and like weave through your feet. I can't do that. Falling hurts, so I don't want to fall. And then I feel bad when I accidentally kick him, but he's right there, and I'm trying to walk, and I don't kick him hard, but still he gets kicked a lot, and he doesn't learn. I don't know. And then I've got all the inner walls down on my bathroom, because we all know that I've got a lifetime of bathroom remodeling going here. Well, I've got exposed insulation, and he likes to play with the insulation. He's actually pulled down 2 or 3 of them, and he was climbing up one of them so he can get into the bathroom window. He's a good mouser. And I feel bad because I'm the one that feeds him. So he wants me to love on him. I'm allergic to him. I can't love on him. And I feel guilty because I won't even pet him. He can sit in my lap, but I have to be real careful, because if he touches any of my bare skin, I break out. If his claws or anything touches my skin, I really break out. And so so I feel bad. I can't love on him like he wants to be loved on. And so, yeah, I need a new home for him. So if anybody got any ideas who I could suggest, because I even put it on Facebook yesterday, and the only thing I got so far is, oh, what a pretty cat. Nope, I've already got 3. It's like, oh, okay. So that's what I got. Looking for a home for him. Today, my 3 things is I'm trying to get back into the groove of exercising, and so today I did a yoga session. I think once or twice I'd only done like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and it about kicked my butt. I guess I was sicker than I thought I was. I don't know. It's been a little bit crazy, but so I did a full 30 minutes today, and I did okay. So that's number one of my three things, and that's done. Number two is Friday errands, and so that's where I go pick up feed for the week and groceries for the week and milk and I don't know, whatever else I do on Fridays. That's what I do. And then I had something else I was going to do, but apparently my phone is not doing well. I always keep it in one of those cases to protect it and stuff. And I've had some trouble getting it charged, and I've worked with it, trying to make sure that the little plug is all cleaned out, and I for I don't know months I haven't been able to charge it next to my nightstand at night. It's like, okay, that's fine. I can charge it other places, and that's worked for 2 or 3 months and stuff now. But this morning it wouldn't charge. I worked with the plug, and there's not really a lot of debris in it or anything, but I worked and worked and worked. Well, it's almost out of battery. And then I took it out of its case so I could work with it some more, and it looks like the whole back side of my phone case or the phone itself is just all cracked all the way through. And the only thing I could think of is it's probably been that way for a while, but I think when I fell around Christmas time and face planted, I probably smacked my phone even with a protective case. That's the only thing I could think of. So I may have to go spend some money and get a new phone today. I don't want to, but minimally I need to go figure out how to go get where I can get it charged or whatever needs to happen with it. So that's my 3 things for today. Oh, okay. So now what I'm reading today, we're going to be doing, you know how it is when you got a desk. It's not a bad sized desk. It's kind of a little desk, but I'm in a trailer house, so I can't really do a big desk, and it's in the bedroom, as you can tell from the bed behind me and stuff. So, things get stacked up, and you got to rearrange. When I push the computer closer to me so that I can get a better, up close, well, everything else I need is out of reach. So, okay, back to what I was saying. We're doing excerpts of chapter 17 and 18 of Atomic Habits by James Clear. Chapter 17 didn't have a whole lot to it. The only thing I had marked on it was pain is an effective teacher. If a failure is painful, it gets fixed. Okay, let me start all over. Sorry. Pain is an effective teacher. If a failure is painful, it gets fixed. If a failure is relatively painless, it gets ignored. The more immediate and the more costly a mistake is, the faster you will learn from it. And then on chapter 18, I did more on this one that had, sometimes you can go through chapters and only mark one or two things, but chapter 18, and this chapter is called The Truth About Talent, and it did have some pretty good information in it. Genes do not determine your destiny. They determine your areas of opportunity. As physician Gabor Mate, I think that's how you pronounce it, notes, genes can predispose, but they don't predetermine. The areas where you're genetically predisposed to success are the areas where the habits are more likely to be satisfying. The key is to direct your effort toward areas that both excite you and match your natural skills to align your ambition with your ability. And apparently I'm discovering that I'm still learning how to breathe again. I'm a lot better. Okay, your personality is a set of characteristics that is consistent from situation to situation. The most proven scientific analysis of personality traits is known as the Big Five, which breaks them down into 5 spectrums of behavior. Number 1, openness to experience. From curious and inventive on one end to cautious and consistent on the other. Number 2, conscientiousness. Organized and efficient to easygoing and spontaneous. Number 3, extroversion, outgoing and energetic to solitary and reserved. You likely know them as extroverts or introverts. 4, agreeableness, friendly and compassionate to challenging and detached. Number 5, neuroticism, anxious and sensitive to confident, calm, and stable. Our habits are not solely determined by our personalities, but there is no doubt that our genes nudge us in a certain direction. You don't have to apologize for these differences or feel guilty about them, but you do have to work with them. There's a version of every habit that can bring you joy and satisfaction. Find it. Habits need to be enjoyable if they're going to stick. As you explore different options, there are a series of questions you can ask yourself to continually narrow in on the habits and the areas that will be most satisfying to you. What feels like fun to me, but work to others? What makes me lose track of time? Where do I get greater return than the average person? When you can't win by being better, you can win by being different. Yeah, that's me. Okay, our genes do not eliminate the need for hard work. They clarify it by telling us what to work hard on. Once we realize our strengths, we know where we spend our time and energy. We know which types of opportunities to look for and which types of challenges to avoid. The better we understand our nature, the better our strategy can be. And the last thing is, genes do not eliminate the need for hard work. They clarify it. They tell us what to work hard on. So I did particularly like the one with the genes chapter. So there was more in it. But it's been an interesting book. And this is, like I said, this is from Atomic Habits by James Clear. And the one I did the most reading on there was on chapter 18, The Truth About Talent. Quote of the day. And I liked this quote. It really did speak to me, but it really, I have to admit, it didn't have a whole lot to do with what I was doing my podcast about, but I don't care. Okay, the quote of the day is, there are really only two ways to approach life: as a victim or a gallant fighter. And you must decide if you want to act or react, deal your own cards, or play with a stacked deck. And if you don't decide which way to play with in life, if you can't decide which way to play with life, it will always play with you. And this is moral shame. And I looked it up, and I'm learning this part. This is cool, too, because, like I've said in the past, when I do a quote, I could tell you who they are. And some of them, okay, Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, all that other stuff. But moral shame, Moral is usually a men's name. Where I'm from, it is. But that she was a Canadian author and journalist that lived from 1935 to 1989. And she had written several books, but I looked like they were more of relationship type books, and so I didn't do that. But yeah, Merle Shane, a Canadian author and journalist. So let me see if I can read it better this time. There are really only two ways to approach life: as a victim or as gallant fighter. And you must decide if you want to act or react, deal your own cards, or play with a stacked deck. And if you don't decide which way to play with life, it will always play with you. And I guarantee you, if you think about that, sit down and mull it over a little bit, you will know it's true. You've got to be proactive in your life. You've got to determine how you want to be. You can be a victim, but being a victim doesn't give you any strength. It doesn't give you power. It doesn't give you the ability to overcome what it is what you're dealing with. So be the gallant fighter. Get up off the couch and do what you got to do and to live your life, and don't let it beat you down. Sometimes it's hard. I won't lie. I won't, if you know anything about me at all, some things in my past has beat the crap out of me. And I will say for sure, in my case, if I had the opportunity to sit back and be the victim, it probably could have truly ruined me. But when I was going through some of my worst times, I was also a single mother, and I didn't have time to sit back and feel sorry for myself. I had to get up every morning. I had to get to work. I had to make sure that I could feed my boys no matter what was going on in the world. And I really, as hard as it was at the time, I believe is probably what saved me from a lifetime of feeling sorry for myself. And I'm grateful for that in the long run. Okay, what's on my mind? I'm still working on taxes. I think I'm almost to October now. And as I've told you before, I think I figured out what the deal is, where all my documents are. I just haven't taken the time to go back, and I'm going to have to go through the chat with Microsoft to say, hey, I don't want this account, but I think everything is on that account is here. So I'm not sure how to get that fixed, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. A long time ago, I decided that somebody mentioned, they used Outlook. I said, okay, I'll use Outlook. And okay, so that's what you do when you learn things. You go. So I started doing. I set up Outlook and I set up a few things in it, and then I didn't do anything with it, and went back to my regular email addresses and stuff. And I really believe that everything's under Outlook, and I've got to figure out how to get all that undone. So I've had to start all over with my spreadsheets for the year, and I'm whittling away. I got September done last night, so all I got now is October, November, December, and then I can take them to the CPA in a timely manner. Last year I was late. I wasn't late, but last year I was like 2 days before the 15th, and his secretary was giving me dirty looks, and I don't blame her, So I'm going to get it in where he can get it done quickly and out, and they could still be my friend, or I can still be their friend, I hope. So I'm working on it, getting there. Breathing and energy is another thing that's on my mind. Oh my gosh, guys. I didn't realize how sick I was. I didn't feel that sick. I couldn't breathe, but it's not like I ran a fever or anything like that. I just couldn't breathe. Well, I was feeling, for 2 weeks, I couldn't breathe at all, and just like doing chores and leaning up on things, bending over to sort clothes, bending over to check eggs, bending over to just anything. It's like, I can't breathe. So I started feeling good enough that I decided to go to Zumba class on Monday, this just 4 days ago, because I love Zumba class, love the teacher, love the class, and I went. And they all know, everybody in my class knows that I've had some bronchitis. I lasted 5 minutes, guys. And it's not even just a matter of not being able to breathe. When you can't breathe, you don't have any energy. And so I said, sorry. Sorry, I'm going home now. Love you guys, but I'm going home. So I lasted literally 5 minutes in Zumba class Monday. And then Tuesday, so I did a yoga class on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday I did it. Maybe not. I think I did it. I did it Wednesdays when I did a yoga class. And that's the one I only did like a 20-minute one. And that about kicked my butt. And then yesterday I went to a morning burn class because I used to love that one, but she switched days. I thought, okay, I'll just go ahead and do morning burn. And I've lasted 15 minutes. And it's really hard to my ego because I've always, no matter what, you get up and you do what you got to do with stuff, and I still am, but oh my gosh, why can't I last more than 5 or 15 minutes or whatever, So the fact that I could do a 30-minute yoga today is definitely the feeling better. The cough is all but gone, and you can still, every once in a while, you can hear me try to take a deep breath to try to catch my breath again, but actually, thank God, I'm getting better. But the breathing part was really difficult for a while. Okay, my main subject. I was lost for a minute. I was like, I can't be done. I haven't got to the main subject yet. I have to admit, warm coffee is awfully nice, especially when you're trying to learn to do stuff. Okay, my main subject is the prospect of death. There's been some death around. It's been kind of weird. Those of you who are aging, you start realizing, I'm not that old. Okay, I'm probably going to say that when I'm 80 years old. I'm 60 years old. I'm going to be 61 in August. But I don't feel that old except when I can't breathe. But we're losing classmates. You get notice that somebody has died, and so some church friends have died. We've had 2 or 3 church members die. One of them was in my Sunday school class, and I have to admit, I knew she was aging pretty good, but I didn't know she was 81 years old because she really did look good, and apparently her death was kind of unexpected. So I was grateful that she wasn't languishing in cancer or diabetes or something like that. She, at 81, went quickly. And so at our church, I was one of the ones that helped work the funeral. I like to work at the kitchen to make sure that whenever funerals are on, they've got a place to sit and enjoy themselves to the best of their ability. And it is kind of cool because a lot of these times they make a recording, and Mary Ann's was really nice too. They just took pictures throughout her life and put it to some of her favorite music, and it kind of goes on track, and they can watch it while they're eating their meal. And because I knew Mary Ann personally, it was cool for me to see her family. And I think she had like, it was a yours, mine, and our thing, I think, but she had like 10 kids. And she even, I knew she had raised a couple of grandkids too, because one of them was there. He came in from the Navy to attend the funeral. And so, I like working the funerals, not because I like working funerals, but you know what I'm saying? I like that service of helping and providing the meals for these people, so that all they have to do is sit down and visit each other and reminisce and watch those clips. I don't know why I'm getting a little bit choked up here, but it's, And okay, so back at it. We lost another member of our church a few weeks ago, and he'd been around so long, he actually even donated the land where our church is now. So he was a big fixture, but he did languish for a while. He struggled for a while. But like I said, I've when I go on Facebook or other places, I can see where I've been losing classmates. And some of you guys know Ken Ash. I met him through the Living Free in Tennessee group, and I actually got to meet him at the workshop last year. Very nice young man, and he's the one I've been doing the Level Up meetings with every other week, and I'm going to have a link to that pretty soon. He's going to send it to me. It's going to be an affiliate link, and I'm looking forward to it, because what we're doing is like that Atomic Habits. We went through that, and we discussed it and how it can apply to our lives and what do we think about it and stuff. And there's several of us that we get together like twice a month for Zoom meetings to discuss the book and discuss what's going on in our lives, what we're doing to be to move us towards success and stuff. Has been very, very helpful. And I've enjoyed having this relationship with Ken. And his grandmother died. Oh my gosh. Okay, I told you Mary Ann had 10 kids. He was talking about his grandma. She had 10 kids too. And like fast. I think she got married at 18. And by the time she was 26, she had 10 kids, because she had a couple twins and some triplets and stuff like that. It's like, I'm really grateful that they've come out with some form of birth control. I don't know. I've got 2 boys, and there's 8.5 years between them, and I had to be talked into the second one. And I will admit, I was glad I had my second one, but I can't imagine. I can't remember how many great grandchildren. I think he said like 150 great grandchildren. So they all had a huge get together here just a few days ago to celebrate the death. Celebrate the life of his grandmother, as she had recently passed. And so that was, and he did a podcast on it that was very touching, because it hit me in a lot of ways what he had said, because I'm aging, I'm raising Kinsey. He talked about how much of an impact his grandmother had on his life. Well, I'm viciously trying to be a part of Kinsey's life so that she can have a good anchor, and now I'm wondering, oh my goodness, how bad is it going to be when I do pass? There's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to pass. She'll live, but it still crosses your mind, And so I think about, how will Kinsey take my death? She will have it the hardest. There's Joseph and I've got 3 grandkids. I've got Joseph. He just turned 21. Then I got Kinsey, 16. And then I've got I think she's like 18 months old now, little Ivy. And that's all I've got for grandchildren. And so of the grandchildren, Kinsey's going to have, she and I have had the closest relationship over the last 5 years. Well, most of her life, honestly, but the last 5 years has been definitely close. So I wonder, how will Tom take my death? Now, how Kinsey will take my death. But then I'm thinking too, like, well, how will Tom take my death? And I have to admit, I really believe that I will outlive Tom. I could be wrong. He doesn't take care of himself. So I'm pretty sure that I will outlive him, but God may have other plans. I'll be perfectly honest. The man probably won't miss me that much. He'll miss somebody cook for him. But he's just going to turn on the television. I could be real wrong, but that's kind of the way I feel about it. And when you start thinking about your own death, do you think, will anybody even care? Will anybody even really care when you die? Have you made enough of an impact in your life? Will anybody even care? And should I care? Well, should I? Should I care if I made an impact in people's lives? Maybe. I don't know. Letty Lou is another part of the group. She's I met her through Living Free in Tennessee too, and I communicate with her via online, occasionally and stuff too, a farmish kind of life and stuff like that. Well, she's studying to become a death doula, and I found, so I thought of her when I was putting the notes together for this particular podcast, and so I looked up death doula. And I wrote it down too. It says a death doula's work ranges from logistical planning for the time before, during, and after a death. They conduct rituals or comforting practices, and they also help the dying person reflect on their life and values. And then they explain the bodily functions of dying to caregivers. So she is studying how to make the transition from life to death for not only for the person nearing the end of their life, but for the people who are in their life. And I thought that was interesting. I never even heard of death doula until she mentioned it a few weeks ago. So it was kind of interesting for me to look that up and check into that. Because if you think about it, a lot of times how many times have you heard of family members that have just been sent to what is it called? It's not the nursing home, but the one after that, hospice. Hospice would be a place to be really effective as a death doula, I think. I don't know. I'm grateful that Letty and others like her care enough to help people pass through. I don't think that's for me, though, but it's interesting. It was interesting to think about that and what that job would be. So my question of the day is, and I would love to hear from you, is what are your thoughts on death, whether your own or someone near you? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like that people will miss you, or will you feel like nobody will care? And if you feel that way, I'm sorry too, because honestly, people will care. Truly, they do. But how do you feel about it? How would you feel about your own spouse's death? How would you feel? And I don't even want to think about losing your children or grandchildren. I can't think about that. But I do want to hear what your views are. You can go and contact me at grandmashomestead.farm. You can contact me there, and or you can even just on the YouTube video, you can comment. Let me know what your thoughts on death are, because I think it has been on my mind lately, and I find some of it interesting. Okay, on a lighter note, my story of the day. Now, I guess part of it is my mom just turned 81. My dad's about to turn 81. So my parents are up in age too. And they both have had strokes and stuff. But at the same time, we had an adventurous life growing up. Mom and Dad were adventurous. It was really cool. One of the things that Dad did, and I may have mentioned this before, is he had a 64 Chevy pickup, and I think I did when I was talking about learning to drive and stuff. We had a 64 Chevy pickup that Dad set up for going camping, and we traveled a lot. Every summer we would take like a 2-week vacation and travel places. Like one time we followed the Lewis and Clark Trail all the way to Oregon and down a little bit, and just did some traveling and everything. And on that particular, when we did the Lewis and Clark Trail, we were I believe we were in Oregon, and with the tall sequoia trees and stuff. I don't know. I was a kid. I don't remember too much about that part. It was cool. The great big tall trees in the forest, and we had gone up into one forest, and we actually had seen where a golden bear, we found the tufts of hair that was in the bark of a tree, and it was from a golden bear. And then we didn't see the bear itself, but just because it's not like a lot of people driving up to where we were. So, but it was a golden bear tree golden bear tree. It was a golden bear that had been scratching his back on the tree and left tufts of a tuft of hair there. So that was interesting. But I think we were on a logging road, and I have no idea how we got there, but we were way up in there in a logging road, and we got lost. We got lost a lot. Dad still gets lost. Well, actually gets lost worse than ever now, but we got lost a lot when I was growing up. It's kind of funny. On a side note, people kind of freak out when they get lost. It's like, in a car. I understand there's a difference in it if you're in out in the wild in a situation and stuff, but if you're in a car, just driving one direction until you get to the road or something. But that's why we got lost a lot. We just never knew where we was going to end up. So we were lost, and finally we had run across a house, and Dad stopped. He didn't ever mind asking people for directions because he knew he didn't know where he was going, and so he would stop and he would ask, and he said, and what we were trying to do is take a shortcut from one town to another, and he thought he could take the logging road. I remember now. He was going to take the logging road from that, so instead of having to go like 20 miles south and then back up north again to get to this particular town. So Dad stopped and got directions and asked, I'm having trouble getting there from here, what is this? And I'm trying to take this logging road there. And the guy looked at him and he goes, you can't get there from here. And he goes, what do you mean you can't get there from here? And he goes, well, do you have pontoons on your truck? And Dad goes, no, I don't have pontoons on my truck. He goes, well, they built a lake unless you got pontoons. Can't get there from here. And I remember that for a couple reasons, because we had to take the 20-mile trip down south and go around it and stuff. But then I always thought too, you can always get somewhere from where you are, maybe not the route that you think you should be taking, but you can always get there from here, just maybe a different route. So I thought that was cool. There was an interesting memory that came back to me, and I thought I would share it with you. So I'm feeling better, guys. I really do feel better. The breathing is almost back to normal. The energy is getting back. I'm so grateful. So where I can be found is at grandmashomestead.farm. That's my website. I'm actually doing some blog posts and putting some stuff on there, and it's still developing. It's still coming through, but I'm actually even posting a recipe or two occasionally. They're not the old-fashioned, like I've never even heard of this. Ken Esch talks about loving peanut butter pie. I'm going, I've never heard of peanut butter pie. So I don't have recipes for peanut butter pie on there, but I have a couple other recipes, and I'll be adding more. And most of them will not be baking recipes. Most of them are going to be vegetable or meat or potato recipes. I don't know. So that's what that's what my recipes are. And but you can catch me on grandmashomestead.farm. My main YouTube channel is Grandma's Homestead, and that is my YouTube where you actually see me try to learn how to remodel the bathroom, and where you hopefully get to see Piglet soon, and all my birds and my dogs and my cat and all that other stuff. So that's Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel. I do have a Farm Animal Life YouTube channel where I just put a camera in with my animals and just let them do their thing. So my two major things is this right here with the podcast, and the other major one is Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel. But you can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, MeWe, Twitter, on various versions of Thecia Ellis. Excuse me. So I guess that's my clue that I'm done. Guys, I know I talked about death. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. We all die. But live until you die. And I mean that from the very depths of my heart. Live. God bless, guys. I'll see you next time.